Yo, what's up YouTube, man? It's your boy Ashton Jackson, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys opening up against the Browns week 1 and my thoughts about it and the storylines that are going to be ensued because of the game. So before we hop into the video, I appreciate it if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. So for those of you who are new to the NFL or haven't been watching the NFL or just haven't really been paying attention to what networks that the Dallas Cowboys play on, the Dallas Cowboys have always been they've always been on Fox. Ever since I've been watching the Dallas Cowboys for like 10 plus years, they've always been on Fox. That's like their little network that they've been on. So that's where Tom Brady is going to be announcing the games. He's taking place of Greg Olsen, and they're going to be doing those late night games, those late afternoon, that game before Sunday night. That's what Tom Brady and Kevin Burkhardt, that's what those two are going to be announcing. So the Dallas Cowboys are opening up against the Cleveland Browns September 8th, which is going to be a really good game in my opinion. I think you would rather much play this team in the start of the year versus the late of the year, because that's going to be a cold weather game. You don't know how the Browns are going to be playing towards the latter part of that year. You don't know if they're going to be a streaky team. I'm not really worried about the Browns in that way, but I'm just saying that you'd rather much play them in September when it's a little bit humid outside or it's decent weather. It's not going to be freezing cold like how it normally is in the back half of November, early December, when you have to play the Browns. But again, we're not really too new to the cold because, again, we got to play Washington later in the year. That's a very cold team that you're going to have to play. I already said Washington, but New York, when you play them in Jersey, it's going to get cold at night. And that November, December time when you're going to have to play them. Philadelphia, we got to play them again later in the year, towards the back half of that schedule. And again, the full schedule release will be on Wednesday later in the evening. So I will talk about that tomorrow in depth about the other 17 games. We're going to have to play them away, which isn't going to be really too bad. But don't forget, we play the AFC North and we play the NFC South. Particularly the AFC North, all of them, they play in outdoor stadiums. So they're all going to be a cold weather team. And there's probably going to be two of those teams in the AFC North, whether that be the Ravens or the Bengals or the Steelers. You're going to have to play one of those guys later in the year. Probably going to play one of those three, if not all three, in primetime games or late night cold weather games. So we're not new to the cold. It's something that we've always been doing, so I'm not really too concerned about that. The storyline for me is Tyler Guyton versus Myles Garrett. That's the first thing that popped up in my mind when they announced the game. I didn't really care about Tom Brady announcing the game. That wasn't too much of my concern because I don't really watch the games with the announcing on anyway. I put the game either on mute or have on very low volume. I'm probably listening to music, or I'm just so focusing on the Dallas Cowboys that I'm not even really, don't even care to really hear what any of the announcers really got to say. I respect Tom Brady and all the guys that announced the Dallas Cowboy games, but I already know I have a clear picture on who's starting, who's the bench players, who's the third string players on the Dallas Cowboys. I know what they're going to attack with us on our offense and our defense. I understand all of that. So Tyler Guyton versus former Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, who just won it last year. He had a hell of a year last year, and he's been a hell of a defensive player ever since he's came into the league in 2017. He's always been a guy to always wreck games, and if you don't game plan correct against him, it's going to be tough. And the whole defensive line and that entire defense is very great. They were second in DVOA, which is just defensive efficiency throughout the year. They're a really good team, really great and stout defensively. I don't want this to be with Tyler Guyton versus Myles Garrett. I don't want this to be 10 years, 20 years down the line when Myles Garrett is on one of these Club Shay or Pivot podcasts, one of these big NFL podcasts, and they ask him, because he played for the Dallas Cowboys for probably a majority of his career, they're going to ask him, what was your welcome to NFL moment? And I really hope he didn't say this game. I hope this isn't a game where he allows 3 sacks, 4 hurries, a lot of QB pressures. I already understand he's been working really, really hard with Duke Manyweather. I hope that now he works even harder because, again, you have TJ Watt. You got the defensive end out of Cincinnati, Trey Hendrickson. You're going to have Odolph Oweh. You're going to have a lot of dudes over there that are playing for the Ravens. So you're going to have a lot of stout guys. And then you're going to have Will Anderson in the Texans. You're going to have to play them. So It's going to be very tough this year for Tyler Guyton. And really like that his first game is going to be Myles Garrett, because throughout the entire time for him in training camp, he's going to be going up against a guy like Micah Parsons. So iron sharpening iron. I'm not too worried about that matchup. I think he'll do great and pass pro against him. He's going to lose sometimes. He is. But when he loses, is Dak Prescott already stepping out of the pocket? Is the ball already gone? Like, those are the type of things that we're going to have to be recognizing. Zeke is definitely going to be in the game for a little bit to help out in pass protection and help out towards Dak's blind side and try to help out Myles Garrett. But hopefully we don't need that much dedication towards him. We are going to eventually. Jim Schwartz likes what Dan Quinn did with not Dak Prescott, but Micah Parsons his rookie year, where he lined up Micah all over the formation. That's what Jim Schwartz likes to do with Myles Garrett. So again, how does Cooper Beebe fare against Dalvin Tomlinson, or how does he fare against any of the defensive tackles that are playing for the Cleveland Browns? So he has to. Cooper Beebe has a lot on his hands too, because he's going to have to block a guy like Myles Garrett when they have Myles Garrett playing that zero technique, that inside shade, or whatever they like to do, right in front of the center, or they like to put him over the guards. Same thing, because he's a 6'6", 6'7" athlete, where he's too quick, where he can get past some of your slower guards. So they like doing that. Also, this is a game where they're going to want to put either Denzel Ward or just do the old Bill Belichick method, where Bill Belichick used to put his best corner on your second best receiver, double up your best receiver, and then bracket whoever your third option was going to be in your offense. So I can see them doing that. I can see Jim Schwartz putting Denzel Ward on Brandon Cooks, them doubling CeeDee Lamb, and then JOK can basically by himself, if he can, depending on what Jake Ferguson does in that game, can kind of slow him down in a way. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker for the Browns, he's a really great all-pro linebacker out of Notre Dame. He was a really great prospect coming out of that 2021 draft class. Him in pass coverage versus a guy like Jake Ferguson is going to be something to watch for sure. So that is something that, you are going to want to see in the game, is how does your offensive line do in pass protection? What is your guys like Jalen Tolbert? Does he step up in this game? Greg Newsome possibly is going to be guarding him. Like I said, if you double up him, you're probably going to have Greg Newsome guarding CeeDee Lamb, but it's going to be, what does this run game do? Because that's something I'm a little bit keen on about, because everyone in the AFC North, in that entire conference, they like to run the ball. Kansas City, when they have leads or they can't really get anything going in the run game, or not in the run game, but in the pass game, they like to evolve off their running game, because they have a really great interior offensive line with Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. You got the Ravens who like to run the ball with Tyler Linderbaum, Kevin Zeitler, and whoever their left guard is. No disrespect, but whoever, basically that entire division, the AFC North division, the Browns themselves, Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, they all love to run the ball. So the Browns are built to stop the run. They did a really great job last year defending San Francisco against that run. What does the Dallas Cowboys do in this running back by committee? Do we have a really good game? Do we have a mediocre game? Are we just getting by? Is this going to be a wake-up call to the Joneses to let them know that, hey, we really need to trade for a back that is better than what we have? I really hope that really isn't the case. Hopefully that this running back by committee can somehow work. But that's pretty much it from the offensive side of the football. Again, what does Tyler Guyton look like versus Garrett? What does Cooper Beebe look like Garrett when they want to put Garrett over the guards in the center? And what does he also look like versus Dalvin Tomlinson and some of those pass rushing three techniques that they have? Dalvin Tomlinson's one technique, so we don't really got to worry about him pass rushing too much. What does Jake Ferguson look like? Some of those linebackers in San Francisco, not San Francisco, but in the Browns. And then what does Brandon Cooks look like? Is he going to be able to get open against a guy like Denzel Ward? Things of that nature, right? Defensively, when we're going up against the Browns offense, I'm not worried about Deshaun Watson. Now, we are the Dallas Cowboys, and a lot of teams and a lot of players, they seem to uptick their play when they play the Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Watson, ever since he got traded to the Browns, has been through a lot of things, and not giving him any slack or any excuses. I'm not. He's been through a lot, and he hasn't played any great football at all since he's put on the Cleveland Brown uniform. So I'm not worried about Deshaun Watson at all, in my opinion. Now, again, like I said, we're all the Dallas Cowboys. This would be a hell of a time that Deshaun Watson plays like 2019 and Amari Cooper goes off for 12 catches, 200 and some yards. I don't think that happens in this game because I think Mike Zimmer is going to have a really good to great game plan versus Kevin Stefanski. Again, Kevin Stefanski, O'Connell, Zach Taylor, the head coach for the Bengals, all those guys that come around, that Gary Kubiak, that Kyle Shanahan sort of tree, so that all that tight slot, constant motions, all the other crap they do in that offense. Zimmer's used to that. So I'm not really too worried about if Deshaun Watson's in the game. I'm not too worried about it. Again, yes, you still have to respect their offensive line. They're going to have DeJuan Jones, Willis Jr., the left guard from Bama. I forgot his first name. I think Jedrick was his first name. But you're going to have some pretty good talent on that end. You're going to have Nick Chubb, who you're going to have to defend. So does the Dallas Cowboys run game really bolster itself? Can you really stop the run? What Wanye said on Brock Hoffman's podcast, we're really going to be stopping the run. That's going to be tested. Again, you're coming in with a new coordinator. You got new players. For a little bit, for the main part, you have most of your guys coming back. The difference to your team is really just going to be your third defensive end, your linebacker core, and that's pretty much it. Your corners are still going to be the same with Diggs and Bland. The thing for me is, what does Diggs look like in his first game back from ACL injury? What does Overshown look like? Terrence Steele is, towards the back half of that year, he was looking back to himself. So I'm not too worried about Terrence Steele, but since we're talking about defensively, Overshown, Diggs, what do you look like? Deron Bland, can you play that? Can you guard that secondary receiver in Jerry Jeudy? I'm not too worried about Jerry Jeudy, but again, can you maintain him? Again, what does our run defense look like? Our linebacking room, are they able to not fall for the eye candy that Kevin Stefanski and all these other guys like to run in their offense with the multiple motions and, at snap motions, post snap, pre-snap motions? What does our linebackers fall for? Can our linebackers cover David Njoku, who's a really great tight end in my opinion? And like I said, you have a really good core and a really good team. This is definitely going to be a game that sets the tone for your season. I understand we still got to play the Lions. I understand we still got to play the rest of the AFC North. I understand we still got to play San Francisco. I understand we still got to play Atlanta, Tampa, the Aints, the Panthers, our own division. So I already know that we're playing against a lot of great competition this year. But I really want to know what the Dallas Cowboys, what does the rest of the 17 games look like? How do we open up against the Browns? All those things. So I have a lot of questions, and I'm waiting for things to be answered for me week 1. And I'm going to come up with an expectation video for the Dallas Cowboys after I talk about and I break down tomorrow's full 18-week schedule. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.